Winnemucca to the Winnemucca Inns basketball bracket challenge here. And Terry, last week's games were pretty exciting, actually.
There's some exciting games. When you look at the Sweet 16, there's only one outsider. So Oregon, who I told you from the get-go, came in as the 12. I thought they should have been the 5 in that game. But anyways, they're on to the Sweet 16. A surprise to some, but not to me. The rest of the teams, all 4 number 1s are in. All 4 number 2s are in. I think the rest are 3s. Yeah, we don't have anything. It is Auburn's a 5. So there's 1 5. So it's 12-5, then it's 3 2s and 1. So it is a tournament that has a lot of favorites coming through. A number of those games came down to the wire. Auburn the very first day playing New Mexico State. If you've seen that,
they blew up a huge lead.
New Mexico had them beat, and they also got fouled from the 3-point line with less than a second to go. One of their best, point guard shooters had 3 free throws. 2 gets a tie, 3 gets a win. He only hit 1.
Yeah.
He went 1 for 3 after being on 83 or 85%.
It was crazy. Well, the funny part about that Auburn game is the cameras were on Big Chuck in the studio.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. I thought he was going to have a heart attack in that game. It was absolutely funny. I can tell you one thing, though, Terry. As I looked at the breakdown here, the big conferences dominated. There's 5 ACC teams in the Sweet 16. There are 4 SEC teams and 3 Big Ten teams. After that, well, everybody else just got 1 right now. I actually thought that Oregon got a little lucky yesterday.
A little lucky with the comeback, but they had that game under control at the half. Got lackadaisical. I don't know what happened. Came out slow in the second half, but then they picked it right back up and kind of did what they needed to do to put UC Irvine away. Great start for UC Irvine getting their first round win.
Well,
moving on.
I thought that there was a couple of calls that really hurt Irvine in that game right at a crucial point when the game was nick and tuck at either 2 points one way or the other, and 2 of them were phantom calls. Luckily, they were able to keep the Irvine coach under control because I thought he was going to go crazy. And then, well, that I can't stand Duke. And I thought Zion Williamson just obliterated that guy at the end to go get that shot off, make that shot. And then he misses the free throw. Little push. Left hand, small the back. The Duke guy is able to get the rebound, put it up, and they win by 1. And then
they won by 1, and
then unfortunately,
still had 2 shots at it.
Yeah, they still had their shot.
They didn't get it. Missed an outside shot, got the rebound, missed the layup. They'll be kicking themselves just like New Mexico. When it comes down to that, just if it had gone in or not. Those are the exciting games in the March Madness. The rest of Sunday was kind of a bore. I mean, the favorites won and won easily.
Yep.
And again, Saturday and Sunday, really no upsets. I expected, I obviously didn't have my bracket picked perfectly. I had some upsets in there. And I guess Oregon's technically an upset. That's the only one I had right. Unfortunately, I had Villanova in my other bracket going all the way to the Final Four, and they get knocked out in the second round. Not just knocked out, blown out.
Well,
Purdue killed them.
We have a number of people with 68s, a number of people with 65s in our contest. Yours truly, I got a 50. It's terrible. Now, Terry is right up there with the leaders. He's got a 65, and there's like 2 or 3 of you guys at 65. So anybody really from 56 up,
I think anybody from the 40s. I mean, so what was at stake? We had 64 points available on the first round.
Right.
So if you picked all 64 games right, no,
you'd have to get 32 right.
So it went 32, 48, 32, 40. I'm just talking in rounds. So there's actually more points available now.
From here on in.
There's more points available. Each win's worth so much more. So getting one wrong in the first round cost you a point. There's only 32 points out there. Getting one wrong in the second round, picking the Sweet 16 is big because you got 3 points per win.
Yep.
There was 48 points on the line there. Some people did well there. The next round, we've got 8 games, and they're worth 4 points each. There are 32 points to be picked up there. But the real thing is if you can pick from here to the Final Four. If you, almost doesn't matter where you are. If you can pick to the Final Four, and that's what actually comes out, you're going to be in great shape to
and then if you can go and pick the Final Four right, there's a good chance you're going to win this doggone thing.
And right now we're looking at the favorites. So, looking at it.
Well, let's start on the left side of the bracket, Terry.
So do you want to do that now or go to another segment here?
You know what?
I guess thank everybody for playing.
Let's do that.
You get so the sheets are out now. Got to get them back by midnight on Wednesday. And, again, make sure you pick the final 8 and the final 4 in the next part of the tournament.
All right, folks, that's going to end segment number 1. When we come back on segment number 2, we're going to talk about the left side of the bracket, okay? All right, folks, welcome back to segment number 2 here. And we're going to start on the left side of the bracket with Duke and Virginia Tech, Terry. And Dukies were lucky, buddy.
Lucky. I mean, Central Florida played a great game. Unfortunately, came up a basket short. I had no interest in that one way or the other. I think from here on, though, they pick it up, and they're probably going to take care of Virginia Tech. We're looking at a spread here, according to the bookie, of this isn't the same way we've got it lined up.
No, they're on Friday,
so Duke
Terry.
is over there. So Duke is a 7.5 point favorite. I'm not sure about that point spread, but I think they win that game and advance at least to the Elite Eight. I think getting ahead of myself, but Michigan State might give them some trouble down there.
Yeah. So who do you like in this one?
So I take Duke over Virginia Tech.
So you're going to take Duke over Virginia Tech. Folks, I'm going to take Virginia Tech. Well, number one, okay, everybody knows I hate the Dukies. But Virginia Tech did beat Duke earlier this year. Now, I know they didn't have Zion.
Having your heart in the game hurt a lot of people in our contest. I'd say 95%.
Oh, my gosh, Nevada.
Took Nevada at least to win the first game, and if not, to beat Michigan and go to the Sweet 16.
That's true.
That just didn't happen.
No, wasn't even close, actually. So I'm going to take Virginia Tech in the upset here and to upset Duke.
Yeah, we haven't seen typically March Madness is about upsets, and we've seen some upsets in the first round, but really
not yet right now.
The weekend panned out favorites, pretty much ruled. Okay, so you like Duke. I mean, you like Virginia Tech.
Yep.
I like Duke. I'm going to take Michigan State on the next line, and going on to the next round, I still got to take Duke.
Well, I see. Well, we haven't got to that side of the bracket yet, but I see I made a mistake on our bracket.
Uh-oh.
I made North Carolina a 3 seed, and they're a 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
we need to change that.
So I made a boo-boo there. All right, so the next game, Terry, is LSU taking on Michigan State. Now, LSU is playing without their coach. They're a team, they're a squad that's in a little disarray because they're under investigation right now. But Tom Izzo, boy, at this time of the year, how do you go against him?
Well, Michigan State's been playing really well. Both Michigan State, finished the season strongly. They were in the Big Ten final game.
Yep.
LSU, barely won on Saturday. They won by 2. I forget. I almost need the other bracket here. I think.
Who did they play? Yeah. Was it Maryland?
No. Maybe it was. Yeah, because Maryland came out of that.
Yeah,
side.
I think it was Maryland. It was a good game.
A tight game. Both these guys. So both LSU and Duke had a tight game. I like Michigan State. I think they've won and won easily.
Yeah.
Both games so far. I think they've got the momentum right now, and I like them over LSU. But it's anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you. I like Michigan State as well in this game, and on that one. And then once we go to the bottom half of this bracket, we got Gonzaga taking on Florida State, the 1 and the 4 seed. For me, I got Gonzaga going all the way, so I'm sticking with Gonzaga.
Florida State's been good, so that's the thing. When you get to the Sweet 16, every team in this bracket, I don't think there's really much weakness there. Everybody's played well. A couple close games getting here. Gonzaga had a sleeper in their first game and won comfortably. Didn't cover their spread on their second game, but they won comfortably. I think they have enough to beat Florida State.
Yeah, and what is that spread on that, Tara? 6.5.
So they're a big favorite.
Yeah, so 6.5. And then the last game on this side of the brackets, Texas Tech against Michigan, the 2-3. All 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds on this side of the bracket all made it. I like Michigan, but you're never going to hear me say that too often, Terry.
No, but for the same reason I told you I liked Michigan State. Michigan beat Michigan State in the Big Ten final. Yeah, I think they're just playing really well right now. And again, I think they've won and covered both their games easily in the first weekend. So
yes. They're
playing well right now. Not to say Texas Tech hasn't. Texas Tech over your Ohio State yesterday looked great.
Yeah.
I wish I had got to the window earlier on that one without skiing.
Ouch. Okay, so then Michigan is a 2-point favorite in this one. So
obviously it's a close one.
But I still like Michigan in this game. So that's going to do it for the left side of the bracket, folks. When we come back, Terry and I are going to talk about the right side of the bracket.
I should go grab. I want to have one sheet that shows everything on
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
All right, folks, welcome back to segment number 3 as Terry and I will discuss the right side of the bracket here in the Sweet 16. And Terry, we started off with a 1 seed taking on your Pac-12 team, Oregon Ducks, who is a 12 seed, no less.
Okay, so I'm going Pac-12 here.
Oh.
It's taking a chance here, but Virginia, of the number ones, I think Virginia came in weakest. They lost their first game in the conference tournament, and they were like that. They've had a relatively easy ride to this point, playing against. They had,
Was it Gardner-Webb?
Gardner-Webb in the first game, and then they had Oklahoma in the second game.
Yeah, they didn't look good at all against Gardner-Webb in the first half. Then they came to life, and then they had a big lead on Oklahoma, and they kind of gave up on that towards the end. I think Oklahoma actually covered the spread on that.
It was the spread was 10 or 12, so I don't remember the final score.
It was close. I mean, it was like within 11 or 10, something like that. So I'm going to take Virginia because, well, quite honestly,
that's a smart choice.
And,
Number one against the 12.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. When I did my bracket in the very beginning, I had Gonzaga against Virginia in the championship game.
Okay.
So I'm going to stick with that.
Since they're both still alive.
Yeah, and then the next game, it's a 2-3 matchup. I think this is an exciting game, personally. Purdue against Tennessee. Purdue, the 3 seed, Tennessee, the 2 seed. And Terry, you know I'm a Big Ten guy. I'm sticking with the Big Ten in this one all the way. I'm going with Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue looked, again, they had
They look strong.
Game against Old Dominion wasn't close, and then they beat Villanova, who I had advancing, beat them
bad.
I mean, so that was the last of the Big East. The Big East, I think, started this tournament with 5 or 6 teams. They're all gone the first weekend. So
yep.
I'm not sure about that conference. I'm going to have to start.
Purdue, where is?
Pay attention to that next year. It's
Tennessee's a 1-point favorite in this game.
It's a close game because it should be a close game. Tennessee won and covered fairly easily both games. So again, we got 2 teams that are playing really well. I just like Tennessee. So again, going back to my original bracket, I had Tennessee playing Oregon here. Actually, I had Tennessee playing Villanova. But I took Tennessee to the next.
Okay, gotcha. All right, the next one is North Carolina, the 1 seed. Even though I made a boo-boo. And I put them as a 3 seed. They are actually the 1 seed, folks. And they're taking on Auburn, the 5 seed. And they easily could have been a 4 seed. I mean, they're playing awesome.
Auburn, again, we talked about it earlier. They struggled to win that first game against New Mexico, but then they just looked like world killers against Kansas. Kansas didn't show up for that game.
Kansas, they stayed in Kansas. They forgot to show up.
Kansas played the first game good, and then, I again, on Saturday, I did not do well. My 2 favorites on Saturday were Villanova and Kansas, and they weren't even fun to watch. Games were over at halftime.
I told you the first thing this morning that I didn't win one bet. It was terrible. Anyways, in this one, folks, I'm going to take an upset here, and I'm going to take the Auburn Tigers. Yeah, Chuck Barkley, I'm with you, buddy. I'm taking the Auburn Tigers to upset North Carolina in this one.
Okay, I'm not. I'm going to stick with North Carolina.
Smart move.
Auburn looked really good against Kansas yesterday. It was Saturday. Saturday game. So looked great against Kansas on Saturday.
What is this?
North Carolina's looked good, in both games. I just think North Carolina will win that game.
And North Carolina is a 5-point favorite in this game. And this game's in Kansas City, Missouri. So we'll see. And when I picked that Vaught Tech, Duke has went to the Final Four every time they come out of the Washington, D.C. bracket. And they're in Washington, D.C. again. So I'm hoping for good luck on that one. And then the last game on this side, it's a 2-3 matchup. The Houston Cougars against the Kentucky Wildcats. I'm going for an upset. I don't think Kentucky's looked that great, and I'm taking the Houston Cougars.
Kentucky didn't have that good first half of the regular season. Came on strong, second half of the season to make it in as a 2 seed into this tournament. But Houston, I agree. I like Houston. I thought Houston looked good in both their games so far. Not that a 3/2 is a huge upset, but and what is our betting line on that one?
It's 2, I believe. 2.5.
So again, 2.5 to the 2 seeds. Not there's no big favorite here, but I like Houston as well. Just I don't know if I like them or just I've done well
Right.
with them here, but I'm taking Houston there.
All right, so that gets us into our Elite Eight. Now, Terry, we got to go and get our final four teams in here. So on the left side, I have Va Tech and Michigan State. You have Duke and Michigan State. I have picked Michigan State to go to the Final Four.
Okay, so I'm going to take Duke. I'm taking Duke down that line there.
All right, so Terry's got Duke. Now, as we go to the bottom half, I got Gonzaga and Michigan. I believe you have Gonzaga and Michigan as
I
well. And I've got the Zags going again to the Final Four.
Okay, I have Michigan upsetting them there. I don't think it'll be a huge if we get to that game. It's only going to be a 3 or 4 point number in favor of Gonzaga.
All right.
But I think Michigan is going to come out of there for the Big Ten.
And then on the right side, I have Virginia against Purdue, and you have
Oregon, Tennessee. So we got
way different here. So I'm taking Virginia to go to the Final Four. Who are you taking?
Here's my big stretch. I'm taking Oregon.
One thing, folks, the one thing I love about Terry is I know he's going Pac-12 no matter what.
No, that's not always true. I hate the Huskies.
I know that's true. You do hate the Huskies, but for the most part, you did pick them though.
I did.
You did pick them in the first round.
Just because, again, I thought that the Pac-12 was given such a weak.
So you did pick them, just like I picked the Wolverines, and that's tough for me to do.
In my thing, I only picked them to win one, and they did beat Utah.
Yep.
And they did not beat North Carolina. Didn't
Nope.
think they would either. So.
Well, on the bottom half, I've got Auburn and Houston. I think you have North Carolina and Houston. I've picked Auburn to go to the Final Four. And who'd you pick?
I'm taking North Carolina. I think we're going to get a North Carolina Duke final game.
God
So
forbid.
that's where we're going. In my bracket, that's where I think we're going.
All right, there you have it, folks. So Terry and I have wrapped it up for the Sweet 16. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about the Final Four. Don't forget, come down. What time's the game start on Thursday, Terry?
So the first game
4
on
o'clock.
Thursday is later than normal, but still we need these entries in Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah.
So
No, wait a minute.
I think there's earlier. We got noon games. We
Oh,
got
what's right.
Virginia and Oregon at noon.
Noon and 4 are the games. Noon and 4. So get down here. We've got
So it looks like
Chef
we're gonna-
Anton's large pretzel and the
Okay.
741 burger. So come on down.
It looks like first game at noon, Oregon, Virginia, and then the rest of them. That's odd. They're all starting at the same time.
Yeah, noon and 4. Very strange this year.
So 3 games at 4. So they'll have CBS, TNT, and TBS. You'll be able to flip around and watch them all. That's one thing I like about the first weekend. You've got games. If you don't like what's happening on the channel you're watching, you can flip to another one for a while.
Well, you know what? Now here's the best part, folks. We have enough big TVs.
They'll be on every
You don't
game.
have to worry.
Yeah.
Here, this is why our lounge was packed, and we had a great turnout here. So all the games will be on no matter what. And what we did, for those of you that like women's basketball, we put on in one of the screens one of the women's games.
And that's happening as well. We have
So we
women's
actually
NCAA
had
tournament.
the big teams on, like the Connecticuts and the Baylors and those type of schools that were in there. So, I mean, I one of our regulars out there, Craig, he bet on
You can
Baylor,
bet. You can bet
he bet on
that.
Oregon, and he bet on Connecticut, and he hit himself a 3-teamer because they all covered.
On the ladies.
47-point spread on one of them, Mississippi State.
Holy moly.
And he had the guts to do it. So good for him. So, folks, that's going to do it. I'm Gary for my buddy Terry, and we'll see you next week.